Hey, everybody. Hello, hello. So good to see you guys here. Let me turn up my volume a little bit. Hang tight. All right. Welcome. It is so nice to see everybody. Oh, we got the whole gang here. Kim, welcome. Sharon, Cheryl, Pat, good to see you. Hope everybody had a great weekend as well. Yeah, Pat, I think this is the way, I think it's the way it's supposed to work, right? That my YouTube channel for a long time was very small. I started out at 0, and then it builds momentum, and the more people that watch, the more people that watch. So I'm so grateful for all of you guys who have been sharing this. Okay, so welcome to Cheryl, doing some side work but listening. No worries at all. What you cooking, right? Yeah. Always cooking something good, some kind of dinner going on there. Okay, so who else is with us? Sherry, good to see you. Wait, my little cheat sheet. And then there was me. Someday I'll remember all these. And then there was me, Collie. Good to have you here. And Donna, great from Maggie's mom, Irish beater. Carol, good to see you as well. I said hello to Pat already. Marianne, hello, hello. Didn't receive the recording from your class on Saturday. Oh yeah, let me double check, Marianne. You should have received the recording and the home practice. So I'll double check for you. Hang tight. All right, just making myself a little note. Thanks for the heads up. And Luke's mommy, hello. Not cooking, just an actual work thing. Okay. All right. So tonight, first of all, we'll begin. For those of you who may be watching me for the very first time, we've got a great community of people here. So feel free to comment, or if you're just watching, that is great. You are welcome to do whatever is comfortable for you. But I'm going to let you know that if you have recently or not recently, if you have at any time experienced the loss of a beautiful animal companion, especially one that was your soulmate, we have a beautiful community of people here that are, well, that want to share with you, that want to support you, on your journey. So you've come to the right place. This is SoulPet, and my name is Elaine. I'm an animal Reiki master, animal chaplain, and animal medium. So I help people whose animal companions are about to cross. I assist people once they have crossed. And it's just become a beautiful practice here. And the animals are the ones who have inspired me to create this YouTube channel where we can share with each other. So been doing the YouTuber thing, saying if you would please like and subscribe to my channel, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with anyone who you think may benefit from either having a community of people who support them in their grief after the loss of an animal companion, or who just would benefit from some insight and information, because I share as much as I can about healing from grief. I share as much as I can different tips, tricks, techniques, comfort, messages of comfort and hope, and knowing that there's light at the end of the tunnel. And there's free resources also. Yeah, I should mention that, right? There's resources. If you go to the description of this video, even the description of the channel in general, you'll see the free resources that I have for those who are anticipating grief or have gone through the loss of an animal companion. All right. And we usually take the first 5 minutes just to get connected, reconnect, see what's going on. So if you're not one of those folks who likes the whole community aspect, just scroll ahead 5 minutes. Tonight, we are going to talk about a couple of things that get a bad rap. And I'm going to try to explain them in a way that's going to help you if you're looking to receive signs from your animals. And also if you're seeking a new way in which you can experience healing from grief and guilt and all those other denser emotions that come after the crossing of an animal companion. And there's a couple things in the spiritual community that get a really bad rap because they're used for something. They're used more for material things, but I'm going to show you how to use them, and I'm going to show them how you can use them for anything at all that you choose and why these things actually work for you. I am also going to give you a new healing exercise. So involved with this, over the past couple of weeks, I've been trying to share every single Monday. I've been trying to share a specific technique that you can use to help you heal. You can use all of them. You can use one of them. You can use none of them. But I'm hoping to be able to offer you something, one way that will help you get that relief, get that peace back, get the joy back in your life, get the happiness back in your life. Because the last thing your animal companion wants you to do is to be living in despair. So we're going to go that. We're going to go over the healing technique. We are going to have a reading tonight for Levi. Levi is was a puppy when Levi crossed, and I did a couple weeks. Oh gosh, it's been longer than a couple weeks. It's been a couple months back. I did a video about when kittens and puppies cross, when small animals cross who have not made it beyond their first year or two. Why does that happen, and what does it mean? And Levi is one of those. And Levi was one of them when I first did that. But now I have a picture of Levi. I was sent a photo of Levi, and I have a much different, not a different connection, but I have more to share about puppies who cross. So first, I'm going to look at the comments real quick, and then we're going to dive right in. And I thank you all for your patience with me this week. Last week, as you know, I'm like a full-time granny nanny. My granddaughter got some kind of flu bug, and it was her first, only 10 months old. It was the very first time she ever got ill, and we were grateful that none of us, it came from it didn't come from anywhere that we were aware. And then the rest of the family got sick. So up until yesterday, I was feeling pretty under the weather. And even yesterday, I was really unsure, but I'm feeling so much better today. But it's that time of year. It's the back to school thing, and the bug starts to fly around, and yeah. But staying healthy, healthy nutrition. Also, a little secret to healing is to take care of yourself. I'm going to be doing a video later this week. I think I might have mentioned this last week. I don't remember. But, I have a couple friends of mine, dear friends, who still remain skeptics. They are not all into, they fully support the work I do with grief, but not so much the woo-woo thing. So I love to help people work through grief and work through guilt and work through the trauma of losing a soul pet. But I add a little woo-woo in there. And it's just because the animals have shown it to me. They have really shown to me the spiritual side of this. And I like to share some of that stuff. And I like to go down the little rabbit hole sometimes. And you can join me if you like, but you don't have to. But anyway, it was one of my skeptical friends who sent me a message that said, I wonder if our animal companions are sending us a message from the other side that we are supposed to get our butt off the chair, out from in front of the computer screen, off the sofa, off the couch, out from in front of the TV, and get ourselves outside. And he said, if you've noticed that, and actually there's a video for members. I'll talk about the members in a minute. He said, if you've noticed, I've gone outside recently and watched that animals in nature aren't ever still. They sometimes rest. There seems to be a period during the day when they get quiet and they rest. But for the most part, they are moving. Their bodies are moving. Their minds are engaged. They're really active. And our sedentary animals, this all came from a skeptic, by the way, if I haven't mentioned that. Our sedentary animals also seem to be afflicted with the same kind of illnesses as people. And it really led me to connect the dots that we should be out moving more. I couldn't agree more. And it's one of the things that I would like to start sharing more than just from animals on the other side of life, even though I think that is part of their message. I think all animals of all species are recognizing that we are sharing this earth together. And humans, we have populated the earth in such a way that we are overtaking animal habitats. We factory farm, and I'm not saying anything with judgment. Don't worry. This is without judgment. It just simply is that we factory farm. We have acres and acres of animals that are farmed for food, and then we have all the wildlife, but they never stop moving. And they are teaching us, I think, that all animals have come together as a species, as different species, to recognize that we all share the planet. And as much as people are beginning to recognize that we share the planet with animals, animals are beginning to recognize that they share the planet with people. And how do we cohabitate successfully? So I take my messages from animals all the time, as you guys know. I take every single day. I receive messages from animal companions. But I know for sure that one of the things that they're telling us is that we need to take better care of ourselves, better care of our mind, better care of our body, better care of our nutrition and our exercise. and the things that we feed our mind, the material that we feed our mind, whether it comes from news, negative. Somebody once said, I can't remember who said this, news, negative energy, negative, worthless energy, something like that. But there's so much out there that we feed our minds with that it's time to clean up our act. So don't know where all that just came from. It was not on the menu for tonight. Okay, I'm going to read comments. You guys, Caroline, hello, how are you? Latoya. And tomorrow is your birthday. I'm so sorry. Hun, I'm so sorry. And you'll see, you will see that that everybody here will be supportive of you. There is so much support here in one way or another. We have all lost animal companions, sometimes very close together, sometimes around specific important events to us so that we don't ever forget. There's a lot. So there will be, everybody here will reach out to you with support. And I offer my condolences, and I offer everything. My heart, I say this all the time, my heart literally goes out to you. When I read messages of people who have lost companions, when I read requests for readings, know that my heart fills for you. I let it swell. Part of the activity that we're going to do tonight, I let my heart fill with love, and I just send that love out. And every single morning, I do my own meditation practice. It is based in the system of Reiki. I was trained as an animal Reiki master, and that serves as the foundation for all that I do. But I literally feel myself fill with the energy of the universe, and I allow that to float out back into the universe to anybody who needs it. So know that that even when you can't find a space within yourself to heal, there are people who are sending you loving, healing energy and sending it your way. Who else have we got here? Thank you guys for supporting Latoya. Right. I would say happy birthday, but we get it. We totally get it. Rabbit holes. I love to go down the rabbit holes. Not everybody does, and it's okay. Little by little, I'll get everybody to go down the rabbit hole. And tonight, when we talk about some of the things I want to talk about, it's because these messages from animals on the other side of life don't come from nowhere. There is a connection. And I think many of us, especially if you have found your way to this channel, if this video has found its way in front of your face, then you're feeling something. Something has connected us. I believe in connection. And I know that there's a unified field, and that we belong to that unified field, and that we reside in physical bodies. This is part of the message that came through from Levi, that we reside in these physical bodies. We are spiritual beings having a very physical experience. We've come here with a purpose, and part of that purpose is to experience all emotion. And that includes the denser emotions. But then how do we lift ourselves out of it so that we can live an even better, happy, more fulfilling, more prosperous life? Okay, so I'm going to check comments, and then we're going to dive right into the material. There was one other thing I was just going to say as I thought about that. It's gone, whatever it is. Love the woo-woo. Awesome. Me too. You know what, I was going to say, I never really did, but I did. I was always intrigued by the woo, by the hairy fairy. That's what I call them for our animals, hairy fairy. I was always intrigued by the hairy fairy, didn't ever believe that it was real, was a skeptic. Like, I'd be the person who wanted to go to all the haunted houses because I wanted proof. Doubting Thomas, show me. And then I'll believe. And it took a long time. It took quite a few decades before I was actually, I think that I was being shown the validation and proof all along. I just was not open to all the subtle signs, and I was not open to receive it. And now I am. Second guess everything. I'm going to try to help you past that. So some of you guys are in my courses right now. I offer courses a couple times a year, several times a year throughout the year, different courses, because I've always got to keep myself interested as well. And I'm always learning new things that I want to share. So I've got two classes running right now. One is an animal Reiki class, and one is a psychic development class. So we really do explore, and I don't explore things in an old-fashioned way. I explore things from a contemporary viewpoint, from a woman who has learned and taught herself and has sought out her own teachers to show me how to develop these skills, because I want to be connected with animals. That is the main reason, more than anything else. I want to be Snow White. I want the birds landing on my shoulder. I want the deer talking to me. I want every animal. I don't care. Mountain lions, snakes. It does not matter to me. I want them all to be connected with me. I want to be able to go walk through the woods in peace and love and joy and have them all with me and understand what they're saying to me and have them understand what I'm saying to them. So that's where the woo-woo hairy fairy stuff comes in. Tonight, I want to talk to you about the thing that really gets some really bad rap because of the way it is used and because of the way it is taught. Several of you guys know that I began my spiritual journey probably 11, 12 years ago. I was taught the system of Reiki. I was still a total skeptic. I didn't buy into the whole thing, but I did it for the sake of a family member until it really did start to click. And I started listening to a spiritual teacher named Abraham Hicks. And Abraham Hicks is a group of spiritual entities that is channeled. And as soon as I say that, right, there are some eyes that glaze right over. Just bear with me for this. It's a woman named Esther Hicks. And even, I learned this from somebody else. Even if she was making all the crap up, if this was all a bunch of BS and she's making it all up, well, guess what? It's darn good advice. Whatever she's doing, it's good. But I have also reached out to Abraham in thought and prayer and meditation and received absolute downloads from Abraham Hicks. But Abraham Hicks focuses on the law of attraction. And the law of attraction, the law of assumption, and manifesting. When you say manifest and the law of attraction, there's a whole group of people that go, oh my God, she's going to talk about law of attraction and manifesting. She's going to tell me how to manifest my millions. That's not what I'm going to tell you, although you could if you chose to. What I am going to teach you, and it got to the second guessing part, I am going to show you how to use the concept of the law of attraction in order to receive signs from your animal companion, because I want specific signs, irrefutable signs that you will know immediately, because that's how we start to release the doubt and we begin to trust, even if it's just a little bit. A crack in the door is all your animal companion needs, and they'll blow the door wide open with the signs that they want to show you. So we're going to talk about manifesting and the law of attraction, and not in the way that it's typically taught. So I'm going to read some comments here again real quick. Second guessing myself too until you got a message from my mom for her friend, right? It only takes once. It only takes once, Kali. One time is all we need for I was just making sure that who the other person was. Hideous Sales. I haven't seen Hideous Sales on tonight. Lauren. It only takes one complete validation, one validation that there's no making it up, and you release the doubt. It's gone. And you start to trust all the rest of the signs that come through. Sometimes I feel confident, and then times, what the heck is this about? Not all signs are going to make sense, and not all of the information that you receive is going to make immediate sense, but it does usually make eventual sense. I call it Easter eggs. It's like the Easter egg hunt. And number one, we're going out there and hunting for their Easter eggs. And sometimes we find a really cool Easter egg. And maybe one time we find the gold Easter egg that has a little something hidden in it, something extra special. And then other times, you remember that Easter egg that like your mom hid in the bag of rice in the pantry and forgot all about. And it's a year later when you find the Easter egg. That's how a lot of the signs work. Bought the book Angels Speak a few weeks ago, trying to reach out to the angels. Okay. I'm gonna say this also. There are no rules. I know that anything to which we believe, and part of what we're going to talk about tonight is intention. Anything that we intend is possible. You guys know that I have my angel cards. I love my angel cards. I love connecting with angels. More than that, I love connecting with my animals. I believe that animals, angels, I think it's hilarious that all these words begin with the letter A, but they do. Animals, angels, ancestors, ancients, did I say aliens? Angel, anything, any other spiritual being with whom we would like to connect. And that includes physical beings here on the planet. If there's someone that we would like to connect with here, we can also do that. But we are able to, through this unified field, access our body the way it was meant to be used. We are taught 5 senses when we go to school. We're taught 5 senses, but it goes far beyond those 5 senses. We should be taught how to use those 5 senses, not just to taste our food and smell something and feel something. It's about how to use them to access information. The unified field, the field of information, the quantum field, whatever you want to call it, science is now teaching us that it's a real thing. They still don't know how to figure it all out, but they understand that it's real and that we are part of it. And how do we then use it? I mean, practical. I want practical information. Fine. If I'm a part of this quantum field, this field of potential that holds every possible potential for my life and for all of my connections and for all of my relationships and for everything I want. Okay, how do I use it? How do I access it? That's what I'm going to show you. I'm going to specifically speak in terms of how to use it to help yourself heal from grief and how to use it to help yourself receive a sign. But we can absolutely access this. It's not even a spiritual field anymore. It is a real thing, how we access it, and to help us. And I am confident that our animal companions are in all cases, when they have crossed to the other side, they are creating a bridge. They're creating a bridge for us to be able to access that field. And there's much more to it than that. Our animal companions, when they cross, it's interesting that I was watching a show last night and the show came to the end and the character was speaking and he said, it's funny when you get to the end of the movie, you know that the end was coming. You've known all along that the end was coming. But when those final words roll across the screen, the end, we're left feeling like we want more. And that's also the same with our animal companions' lives. Every single animal has come into your life for a reason. They've also left your life for a reason. We all knew logically that at some point their time with us was going to come to a completion. But now they're teaching us that just because their body is gone, the love does not die. And that is the most important thing, that their love and their energy and their soul and their spirit are still with us and still accessible to us. Okay, I feel like I'm preaching here, so I don't want to preach. Let's talk about the law of attraction and manifesting. In the metaphysical spiritual world, you can go to YouTube and you can type in the word manifest and you will get a million channels. There are so many people who talk about manifesting because we are all operating, I'm using myself too. We are operating from a place of lack. And a place of lack means we are either lacking money, relationships, health, quality of life. Anything. We're missing something. And in our case, when we talk about grief, we are lacking the companionship and the love of the animal who shared our life and who gave us unconditional love, who knew us like no other, who knew everything, who knew all of our sins. We know this, right? I know you guys know this. Our animal companions know everything about us. They see us in our most raw, our most vulnerable, and they love us anyway. And they don't just love us anyway, they adore us anyway. And we miss that. When they cross back to the other side, it leaves a gaping hole. It literally leaves a gaping hole. So you look up manifesting on YouTube and you'll find a million videos, and it's usually about how to manifest either a relationship, money, or health. So why do I not have the love of my life? Where's the love of my life? Why did I end up marrying this person? Why is my heart broken? We're not talking about animals now, people. So you have teachers out there who will teach you how to manifest the man of your dreams, how to manifest the woman of your dreams. All right, you're feeling financial lack. You're looking for financial security. You want to win the lottery. Manifesting here. You do this and you'll win the lottery. You do this. You sit on your couch and you meditate and you pray. And the next thing you know, you've got $1 million sitting on the couch next to you. Abraham Hicks says it so nicely. Abraham Hicks says, we all want to know how to get the money out of the field and into the bank. She calls it, he calls it, they call it the vortex. We all want to know how to get the money out of the vortex and into the bank account. And that's what manifesting has gotten a bad rap for, because it's all about, especially there was a book called The Secret. If anybody read the book, The Secret, or saw the movie, The Secret, it was a great jumping off point, a wonderful introduction to the rest. It seemed to open the eyes of so many people that there is more to this little game of life than what we have been taught. Life does not suck and then you die. There's something you can do in between that helps you create a better life for yourself. Unfortunately, it came up short because many people who read or saw The Secret thought that all they had to do was sit on a couch and visualize all the beautiful positive things, how to focus on positive thoughts and positive affirmations, and everything in their life would change. But it does take a little bit more than that. I am under the understanding now, and I practice this every single day. I promise you, I'm on this journey with you. And I'm setting aside all my doubts when I do this. And every win I'm going to share with you guys. And of course, it happens always with Jack, Lucy, and all my animal companions. But it does, when I teach you this method that I want to show you, it does have a lot to do with intention. I am going to suggest that affirmations and mantras are useful and helpful for reprogramming our little hamster brain, for reprogramming all of the thoughts that for years have been embedded in us, socially, educationally, religiously. We have had so many things embedded in our psyche that it's become a bad habit to think all these things, to think that we're in financial lack, to think that there's not enough, to think that if I have a bigger piece of the pie, then you have to have a smaller piece of the pie. It doesn't work that way at all. Pie is for everybody. There's plenty of pie for everybody. And so I don't even, I interrupted myself with the thought about pie. So coming from a place of lack, I lost my train of thought. I remember now. So it helps to set an intention, then to use affirmations to reprogram your mind, a little bit of self-hypnosis. I have several different meditations that help with self-hypnosis to retrain and reprogram your mind. And it takes a little bit of work because we've been years thinking all these wrong things. All of these, wrong is such a judgmental word, but we have not been using our brain correctly. We've been letting our thoughts manage us instead of us manage our thoughts. So what we want to do is be able to reprogram our brain and then take inspired action. There are things that you can do. So I'm going to use money as the example, but we're going to come back to this for healing and for grief. If you needed a certain amount of money, or you wanted to see more money in your bank account, or you wanted a better job, what you would want to do is not just sit on your couch and wait for the phone to ring so that you'll be offered that dream job that you've wanted all your life, that you've never gone to school for, and that you wouldn't know how to do if it was offered to you. But that thing, you want to be the astronaut, whatever. You don't just sit on the sofa and wishful think it into place. We sit and quiet our mind, and we do it. I like to do it through meditation, and meditation can be anything, whatever it is that gets you in the flow, in the zone, in that state. For me, it's about being out in nature, connecting with animals. I also love to physically move my body. It gets me into the flow. I love to sit quietly with some candles lit and some really soft music in the background, gets me into the flow. For some people, it can be washing the dishes. It can be singing. It can be coloring. It can be anything that gets you in the zone. And that quiets the chatter that goes on back here. And you quiet that chatter and you ask, you seek inspiration. And it takes a little bit of time to get used to this because like the doubting Thomases that we talk about in our comments here, when we second guess ourselves and we wonder if what we've just thought or heard was real. Mike Dooley says you take baby steps, but every single day. Mike Dooley, by the way, I've got to point this out. If anyone has never listened to Mike Dooley is one of he's a pretty heavy hitter in the spiritual world and spirituality world. And he sends out notes from the universe every day. He is very, very responsible for helping me with this YouTube channel. During COVID, it was in 2020, he had to stop doing live events. He was always doing live events, had to stop doing live events. And he started to do these little 5-minute every single morning on Instagram. he did these little 5-minute live streams, and I started joining. And nobody really at that time, we didn't even understand, most people didn't know how to use Zoom. We didn't understand what a live stream was. And all of a sudden people were putting content out there in a live format like this. So I started, I thought I would help him because I saw that who am I to help Mike Dooley? But I thought that I would help him get more listeners and get more, like, show people what you're supposed to do on a live stream, which is comment like you guys do in the comment. So I was like one of the only people commenting, and I would say, Mike, I love the message that you're, and every single day, I put a little comment out there until finally one day, and I set the intention. There's a point to this story. I set the intention as I was still playing with this, even in 2020, I was still figuring all this out. I sat down and I went, today, Mike Dooley is going to say my name. Today, Mike Dooley is going to say my name. Today, Mike Dooley is going to say my name. And I just kept repeating that mantra in my mind. And then he said out loud, and Animal Reiki Lady, who the heck are you? Who is the Animal Reiki Lady? And I just love all your comments. I was over the moon. I was over the moon, not just because someone that I recognized and held dear as a spiritual leader spoke my name on one of his live streams, which, by the way, there are some of you who follow me now because of that. But also because I set the intention. I had no expectations. I simply set the intention, trusted that it was going to happen. And then I put my comment, and it's inspired action. And the next thing you know, just a sidebar there, just as part of how this channel came to be, because I started to get followers myself. All right. So what is it? What is the process then? And this can be used for both receiving a sign and for healing. All right. So I wrote some steps down. I always do. You guys know I do this through automatic writing. So I sit down and I just ask to be inspired. And part of my inspired action is then writing down the things that I receive into my mind. I didn't have a thought a moment ago, and now I have the thought. So I'm writing it on paper. And I do that because I don't want to second guess myself. I want to trust everything that I receive. So I write it on paper. That's part of the process too. Writing, the spoken word, the written word, there are strong, powerful things there. When you start to write down the things that you want to, that you want to happen in your life. And maybe next week we should go into automatic writing again. I am teaching automatic writing as part of the psychic development class this week on Wednesday, but maybe we'll do another little mini session this coming Monday. So what are the steps? You don't just sit on a sofa and wish for a sign. The sign, let's go with signs first. We want to receive a sign because it will help validate for us that our animal companion is still with us, that they see us, that we are able to get messages from them and send messages to them. And it just makes us feel better, right? If we can get an absolute sign. We've talked about the many signs before. It will always be something I talk about because there's always a fresh question. There's always somebody asking me, how can I get a sign? Why can't I get a sign? I've tried to get a sign. Sometimes they're very subtle, and you've got to keep your eye open for them and be open to receive all the different signs. But here's what I would do. I would not sit on the sofa and wish for a sign. What I would do is sit down in a quiet space. Sometimes it helps. It helps if you have got something that connects you to your animal companion. If it is their picture, if it is their collar, if it is a piece of their, that you've saved a piece of their fur, if you've got like their paw prints in clay, anything at all. You don't have to, and by no means. It's more for us than it is for the connection with them. But sometimes it helps to hold that. But I sit down and I focus on my breath. And if we have time, maybe I'll guide you through this, but I don't think that I necessarily have to. We sit down and we set an intention. And we intend, just like I did with Mike Dooley, I set the intention that he would call my name, that he would speak my name out loud. And now I've set the intention, this has just come to me, that I'm going to meet him, that there's going to come a time when I get to meet Mike Dooley, and it's not going to be in a crowd of 1,000 people at one of his events. I'm setting the intention that he's going to reach out to me because he's got a dog, and he's got a daughter, and something's going on with the dog, and he's going to reach out to me for assistance with his doggie. That's the intention I set. So for you, what you might want to say is, I set an intention, and I have just realized that I want to talk about one more thing, which is co-creating. I set the intention that today you can put a deadline on it. You don't have to, but you can. Today, I am going to receive a definitive sign from my animal companion. We'll say Sammy. I am going to receive a sign from Sammy today, and I am going to know that it is a sign from Sammy. And then you're going to visualize. You can visualize one of two things, or you can visualize them both. Visualize, and don't tell. I hear this all the time. I'm not good at using my imagination. Visualization is very hard for me. Well, I'm pretty sure you visualize all the time. We just don't realize that we do. Have you ever had a conversation in your head with somebody that wasn't there in person? That's a form of visualization. So you're going to have that conversation in your head with your animal companion. So you are going to visualize that you are receiving a sign, and you can picture that sign in your mind. I would like to hear Jack. Sammy. Isn't that funny that Jack just popped into my mind? My handsome boy. I love that boy so much. I am going to receive a sign from Sammy. I want to hear it. I am setting the intention that I will hear a sign, and I'll know just what it sounds like. I know just what his little feet sounded like when they clicked across the kitchen floor. I know just what it sounded like when he drank from the toilet bowl. I know that I will recognize that sound when I hear it. And then be open. Be open, and not just be open, but be aware. Be aware of. So if you've set it for today is your intention to receive that sign. Everywhere you go, search for the sign, listen for the sign, see the sign, smell the sign, whatever. You are going to, you're going to be very aware and very open to receive that sign. And we're going to go back over this in a second. And then you want to let your heart fill with gratitude in advance of it happening. In advance of the sign, you're just going to be so thankful. Let your body feel how wonderful, how grateful you are just to hear those little toenails clicking on the floor. Who would have ever thought that such a beautiful little sound could fill you with so much joy? You fill your heart with gratitude, and then you let it go. Let it go. Let it go and trust that it's going to happen. Just let it go. And by let it go, I mean, don't forget about it, but don't hold on to an expectation. Just trust that your animal companion has received your order. One of the examples I used in class this week was that you don't go to the restaurant and place your order for the BLT, and then 10 steps away from the table, ask your server again, but where's the BLT? And then it's a table away, but where's the BLT? And then you don't go back into the kitchen and stand over the chef's shoulder while he's making the BLT. You trust that the server has taken your order, taken it to the kitchen, and will bring it back to you as soon as it's ready. So yeah, let go of the need to follow through on anything else. You've done the work. That is the work. For manifesting. And then pay attention. And those signs come in all different ways. I specifically said if you wanted to set the intention for a specific sign, you could, but you may just want to set the intention to receive a sign, as long as it's definitive, as long as you'll recognize it right away, and then pay attention to whatever those signs might be. So we don't just sit and wish. We sit down. We quiet our mind by focusing on our breath, or by holding on to something that is our animal companions, or you can even think of a memory or the favorite thing that you used to do with your animal companion. I love to sometimes just sit under a tree and connect with a tree and just sit there and feel the beauty of nature and allow that to quiet my mind. Set the intention, visualize the feeling of what it would be like to receive the sign. Signs may be subtle. Remember that signs can be anything. It can be you all of a sudden see their toy that you hadn't seen in forever. You find a clump of their hair behind the sofa, a feather, a coin, a song, a smell, the sound of their name. It can be so subtle, but you want it to be something that you recognize. and then fill your heart with gratitude. Let go of the need, let go of the expectation, and then just be aware. Be aware and be practicing from a place of having already received it. And that is how it happens. And if you miss it, let's just say, all right, you say, all right, I've done all those things, Elaine. I've done all those things. I have quieted my mind. I have set the intention. I have asked for the sign. I've let go of the expectation. I have looked and looked, and the 24 hours have passed and no sign. I have been there. I would just advise you to be patient. And darn if I didn't mean to wear my Lucy shirt tonight. Oh, well, that's just the best laid plans. I thought about it earlier. I've had it happen to me. I have had it happen to me where I asked Lucy to come to me in a dream. Nothing. 24 hours went by. I got no sign from Lucy. Lucy, who is my spirit guide. She's my animal. She's my babe. She's my one on the other side who's made all these connections for me, and I got nothing. And I said, and I was disappointed. And I said, wow, I'm sorry that I really felt a little let down that I didn't get a sign until I walked into the store and there was the Lucy shirt. And then there was the next Lucy shirt. So trust that they will come through to you. All right. Before we get on to the one for grief, I want to check the comments real quick. Brand spanking new to this. Where did you learn all that? Asking for them to protect me with their shield. Okay, so you guys are really going into the psychic, spiritual weeds over here. All good, all good. And so, Kali, if you want to, maybe we can connect outside of like the conversation. And if there are some specific topics that you really want to learn more about, like protection, and I've got all kinds of thoughts about that need for protection and some other things. And you can let me know because I can use that. I'm sure you're not the only one who has those questions. I also did not know any of these things. I always wanted to explore different psychic topics, spiritual topics. I wanted to be able to move pencils with my hand or, whatever. I wanted all those telekinesis, and I'm still working on the telekinesis. There's a guy here in Denver. His name is Sean McNamara, who teaches telekinesis. He's only ever able to get a pin to move, but it's something. It's something. Anywho, it takes practice and it takes a little bit of learning, and then maybe you join my psychic class next time around, because these are the kinds of things that we talk about. If you want to learn how to actually access all of your senses to their highest ability, including your sixth sense, which means connection to the unified field and being able to access all that, we can talk about it. And then I'll bring it up for other people who may be interested. It's not a voice, it's a thought. The way that you sometimes receive information, I rarely hear a voice, only on occasion. When we talk about clairaudience, it's not a mystical word. It simply means clear hearing, clairaudience. And sometimes people hear voices. Sometimes I've heard snippets of conversations, but mostly it's a knowing. Mostly I receive a download where tonight when I connected with Levi, even though Levi's message is not that long, I just got to send, I didn't know this. I didn't know this a minute ago, but now I know it. So I write it down. And that's how I receive information. It comes through as a knowing. Some people refer to it as a download. All right, let me go through the comments real quick and make sure we stay on track with law of attraction and how to use it to manifest healing. I totally understand I can't explain. Nothing's happening around me. I just feel him around me and know that he's there with me. That is one of the best ways. I think many of us recognize that also. I know when my animal companions are with me, even if I don't sense them with my physical five senses. I know when they are with me. If that's what you meant by the knowing, I kind of got off track there a little bit. That you just know that they're there. That's perfect. Just knowing they are with you that's sometimes all I need. It's sometimes all you'll need is to know that they're with you and trust that they're with you. And then they reveal themselves when the time is right. They reveal themselves when you need them to. It's not like they're playing a game of hide and seek. Their energy, to them, their energy has not ever left. Their energy has shifted into a different form, but they haven't ever left us. And that goes for humans also. It goes for all species. Just because they leave their physical body, it's not the end. And the transition, it's not like we have been taught. It's not like Hollywood has taught us. I call it being Hollywooded. It's not like that. It's not like the shows. We only ever know this from books that we've read or TV. If you want to learn some really cool stuff, look for some YouTube channels for near-death experiences. Next Level Soul has kind of gotten away from the NDE thing, but look for YouTube channels that talk to people who have experienced out-of-body or near-death experiences, and you'll get a really good sense of where was I going with that? I don't even know. Had a bad week again. I know he's here, but it makes me feel sadder that you can't see or hug him, and all you want to do is cry. Okay. I hope that I can help you through that. That's my goal with this, is to be able to help people not be stuck in that grief. And we have good days and bad days, and there's no judgment there. I still go back. There are so many things that I would do differently. Jack in particular, Lucy too. So many. I would change the way that I interacted with them on so many different occasions. I would do things differently. And do I want them back? And do I miss the hugs? Do I miss the kisses? Do I miss the jumps on the bed? Do I miss the spilled water bowls? Do I miss Lucy, who had a tail? She was, oh my gosh, she's a bull in a china shop. Could knock anything. If it was glass and it was on a table, it was gone. I miss all of that. But I'm hoping that I can get you to the point where I am now. And that is a point of not just acceptance, but I don't know, a powerful connection that leaves me feeling empowered, that leaves me feeling like I am surrounded by a community of animals, by a collection of animals that are here as my guardian angels to support me. But anyway, I'm going to keep going. Judy, hello, how are you? We Don't Die with Sandra Champlain is great YouTube to watch. Okay, about the afterlife. Awesome. I can't say I've ever seen it, so I would look that up myself. We don't die. We don't die. That's half of where this comes from. I've talked about this so many times before, and I'm not going to get too far off the tangent here. I want to stick to the time. And I can already feel my throat is still getting a little bit raw. We don't die, ever, ever. Wrap your mind around that. Forever, ever. Ever and forever and ever and ever and ever. We don't die. We exist forever. And sometimes we're like, I don't want to exist forever. What does that mean, forever? Except that we can do so much. And with each incarnation, and this is really going down the spiritual rabbit hole real quick. With each incarnation, we get better at this. We get better at this. And there's no such thing as karma, the way that we're taught. Like if you did something bad in this life, you're going to come back and pay for it in the next life. Nope, doesn't happen. Doesn't happen. That we're learning. We're absolutely learning, but we don't have to take any lessons away with us. We are learning how to navigate this really cool, as Mike Dooley says, jungle of time and space. We're meant to come here and have fun. We've kind of twisted it a little bit. But anyway, we do not die. So I'm going to go and look that one up when we're done here. Went to get out of bed, and there was Asia. You could smell her, feel her, kiss you on your nose. Yep. And I have once, you guys know this, and it was a kitty cat. I don't see her on here this evening. But I had a cat jump on I don't have cats. I have dogs. I was laying in bed, and was I house sitting at the time? I think I might have been. Anyway, a cat jumped on my chest, enough to wake me up. Like I felt the cat jump on my chest, and I knew there was a kitty cat there and breathing. I could feel the cat breathing with me. You know how sometimes cats do that? They like to get real close to your nose and mouth. I felt the cat, and I did ask for who the cat was, and I know that it's Scout, but they're there for us. They are there for us. They are ready for us to connect with them. They don't want it to be a secret. They don't want to be in hiding. They want to continue to be partners with us, even when they're not in the physical. And all right, we're getting off track. So let's talk about the law of attraction when it comes to healing grief, because I want to give you one very specific technique to help you. It's called the anchor technique. Help you not only achieve a level of healing, but anchor it in place. And then the other thing I wanted to mention, besides the law of assumption, there are some spiritual laws that don't often get talked about, and maybe I'll bring more of them up. We'll see. But for now, the other one is the law of assumption. And the law of assumption is almost that feeling as if kind of thing. The law of assumption was taught by someone named Neville Goddard. If anybody wants to, it's an old timey kind of guy. I think he's back from like the 50s. He might have passed away in the 60s or 70s. I don't remember. But his name is Neville Goddard. And he does a lot of work with creating your own life. But the law of assumption that he taught is that we assume the feeling as if. So when we go back to talking about visualizing the feeling and be open to the subtle signs that we may get, but then to fill our heart with gratitude in advance, his technique was to actually sit in the chair, visualize yourself. He would go deep into meditation, so that place between awake and asleep, and visualize in every detail what you feel like when the healing has occurred. What does it feel like? What is that feeling of relief, peace, calm, joy, happiness? What does it feel like again to be there? And you visualize it until you can begin to feel it. You are assuming the feeling. So that's going to come into play when I talk about law of attraction to heal grief. So the first thing you're going to do, this is if we want to use law of attraction to help us heal from grief. So we can use law of attraction for anything. You can use it to manifest that man or woman that you want, your partner. You can use it to manifest a new car. You can use it to manifest a new job. But we're talking about something that for everybody on this channel, how to manifest healing, how to help yourself overcome the grief. Step number 1, embrace the feeling of the grief. We have emotion. There are spiritual beings all over the universe who would love to be experiencing the feeling of emotion, the depth of emotion that we have. Our emotions run the gamut, and they say there's a saying that every emotion is the same thing, like love and hate are the same on the same thing, just a different scale. Like hot and cold are exactly the same thing. It's just on a different level, different scale. How hot or how cold, how far away from hot are we getting? How far away from cold are we getting? But we are meant to feel. We are meant to feel, and we want to embrace the feeling of grief. All right, so we sit in it. We sit in it even if we cry. We sit in it even if it feels dense, if it feels really heavy. Feels like we're wearing a coat of sadness. Embrace the feeling of grief. And then slowly begin to shift your focus. Shift your focus to the feeling of healing. Shifting. Now, it doesn't mean right away. It's not like, okay, I'm going to set the intention that I'm going to be healed. You are just allowing yourself to flow into what healing might feel like. So how do you do that? I like to let my heart swell. So I bring up a memory, or I bring up a smell. I can bring up the smell of a dog in no time flat. I know I love the scent of a dog. I love that scent. So I can think of that smell. Think about something that makes your heart fill. Let your heart fill with love. And then imagine your animal companion at peace. Imagine them at peace. How beautiful it is for them on the other side. How wonderful it is. How excited they are to connect with you. Think about those things. So just think about them. You don't have to believe anything. You don't have to believe anything. You don't have to do anything. Just shift your focus to those things. And then I would also add one piece to this that is not ever taught, that I'm aware of, in any kind of law of attraction class or any manifestation class. Find a community of support. This group of people commenting over here, they have created a community for themselves, not just me as the spokesperson here. There's a group of people here in this community who support each other and who will not ever question you, who will not criticize you, who will not judge you. How beautiful to have a group of people that you can turn to at any time and seek support from them. And then you want to anchor the healing. So this is what that community piece maybe doesn't fall in like the steps, but you're going to attract people who are, you're not like you've been drawn here. You're going to attract other people. When you do these exercises, you're going to attract that's what law of attraction is. Law of attraction is that like attracts like. And so that when you align with something, when you get yourself vibrating at the same frequency, I know I'm using terms I really was hesitant to use, but when you are setting your body and mind, when you are harmonizing and balancing your mind and your heart, and you are sitting with belief and intention, you will begin to attract to you those things about which you are thinking. So you're going to attract people that will support you. You're going to attract a community of people to support you, just like you might have attracted this channel. And then anyway, then you're going to anchor the healing. So here's what we're going to do for the anchor. To anchor the healing literally means that it's like throwing an anchor off the side of the boat. It goes deep into the sand and it holds you in place. And sometimes the anchor drags a little bit, and sometimes it doesn't keep you still as you want it to be, but other times it's going to hold you right in place where you want to be. So we are going to embrace the feeling of the grief. We are going to slowly shift our focus to healing. We're going to let our heart fill with thoughts of our beautiful animal companion. We're going to know that they're at peace, and that just knowing that our animal companion is at peace is enough to help our heart begin to heal. But then we're going to anchor it in. And the way that we anchor it in is with openness. I like the word open. So what you're going to do, I had this note on the other side, is focus on the word open. And you're going to repeat this as a mantra to yourself. I am open to receive. I am open to the possibility of healing. You don't even have to say that you're open to heal. You're open to the possibility. You're open to the possibility that you can be happy again. You're open to the possibility that there's joy ahead for you. You're open to the possibility that you can find relief. I always like the relief to come first. You don't have to go right to joy. It's almost impossible. That's another thing that Abraham Hicks teaches. If on a scale, if we're on this emotional scale and we're way down here and you have all these emotions in the middle, we're not going to be able to jump from despair to joy. It doesn't happen. But we can jump from despair to a little bit of relief. And we just take these things one little step at a time. So I like to use the word open. Focus on the word open. I am open to receive. I am open to heal. I'm open to the possibility that there's happiness ahead for me. I'm open to the possibility that I can love again. I'm open to the possibility that I won't have bad weeks. I might have just bad days or a bad hour. I am open to the possibility. Then there's one more step. Every time you open a door, you're going to remember that. So you can just put it away. You don't have to do anything else after that, except every time you open a door, it's going to come back to you that you're open to the possibility of healing, that you're open to the possibility of a sign of happiness. And then you're going to go about your day, and the next thing you know, you're going to be going into a building where there's a revolving door, and you're going to go, it's a door, and I'm opening a door. And that reminds me that I'm open to the possibility that I can connect with my beautiful animal companion on the other side. And watch it put a little spring in your step. So that's the way you anchor it in. You anchor it in with a solid anchor, and that's a thing. For us, it's going to be the open door. And every time you open a door, you're going to recall it. All right. We are ready right now. I was going to talk about co-creating, but we might have to come back to that. Co-creating is where you and your animal companion together. So they're already waiting on the other side for you to take some of these steps. And then together, that's how some people are seeing images in the clouds. That's one of my favorite examples, because you and your animal companion together can decide what that sign is going to look like, and you co-create. That's a whole nother element of law of attraction and creation. Quick thing on comments before I do Levi's. Levi's reading is very short because Levi led a short little life, but he has something important to say. Got to feel it to heal it. Yeah, there you go. Neville, go to the end. You love Neville Goddard. So for any of you who's never heard of Neville Goddard, he's also an interesting character to listen to, just like Abraham Hicks. I'm sorry, your heart aches. I know, from Yum Yu. We would all give each other a big hug, right? We would all give each other the hugest hug, and someday that's going to happen. We are all going to, do they know we can't see them? Do they know we can't see them? Did somebody ask that last week? And I have to give that some thought. Do they know we can't see them? I think it's a mixed bag. I think they know that we can see them if we would just look with different eyes. But do they know that we have difficulty? Yes, they know. They absolutely know. Yep, they know. And we talked about this before. It's also, I'm going to kind of briefly talk about this when we talked about ghosts and orbs and being able to come through from the other side, and that souls on the other side are also still figuring it out and learning. But yes, they understand where we are at, and they try to meet us where we're at. The only time they can't meet us where we're at is when we're really deep in it, and they don't want to bring themselves down that low. They're willing to meet us part way, but they really don't want to dive into our grief. They would much rather, I think that's why channels like this have started to come up. I think they would much rather help us rise up a little bit so that they can meet us. I've used the example before of that we're stuck in the lowest level of the basement garage and they're living in the penthouse. But if we both take the elevator to the lobby, then we can meet. Okay. So place for having another pet. That's okay. Nobody, you'll know. You'll absolutely know when it's time. And sometimes they'll insert themselves into your life. Like Gypsy, when my beautiful animal companions crossed, I knew I had seniors. We've talked about this many times. My logical mind knew one thing, but my heart knew another. And I was not going to, for a while, I was going to stay without. And man, Gypsy just found a way. She came all the way from South Texas, and she took a long, hard road to get to me. I felt pushed into bringing her into my home. And now, oh my gosh, I wouldn't trade it for all. I just can't even imagine my life without her. So at some point they will find their way to you. All right. We're going to go to Levi. So Levi is a golden retriever, and Levi suffered from, and I don't know exactly what it is. I don't like to look up physical conditions. And when I ask, because I just don't want to influence the information that I'm receiving. And when I connect with animals on the other side and I inquire about the reason for their crossing, they rarely share anything with me. Only occasionally do I get a physical symptom of some kind that gives me an indication. But for the most part, the manner in which they crossed is not relevant to them. It is not part of anything except if it is a condition for which they are trying to teach us human beings something needs to change. And that even came through with Levi. We have talked about it in other sessions and in other classes about cancer. I'm going to use the cancer. I'm going to use diabetes. Maybe that's a better one, because the C word really has a way of sending us down on a downward spiral. So let's use diabetes as an example. An animal companion may cross from diabetes, but part of the day that they cross, the moment that they cross, that disease is not relevant to them. And our animal companions don't suffer when they cross, by the way. Not a single one suffers. We may witness something that looks like suffering, but they're gone. That's only a physical reaction from their body. Their soul exits before they experience any kind of suffering. And I've worked with so many animals between the veterinarian, my private Reiki clients, and at the pet funeral home. I've just hundreds. So I have received clear messages from every single animal that there is no suffering, including wildlife who are hit on the side of the road. There is no suffering. But the disease itself may be one of the lessons that we are learning. Are we learning that we need to shift their nutrition? Are we learning that we have been led down the wrong road when it comes to all the pharmaceuticals that we are giving? Now, I'm saying these things without judgment. I'm not telling anybody not to give their animal companion a certain kind of food or not to seek medical care. On the contrary, as a Reiki practitioner for animals, I believe in holistic care. I think that it's one beautiful scope, and I think that animals should have acupuncture and acupressure and massage and Reiki and medical care and veterinary care. And I think it's a whole wonderful for me, I need to have a holistic vet for my animal. But the disease itself, are they trying to teach us that something needs to change? So usually, again, no judgment. In a home where an animal might have something like diabetes, there might also be a person who is experiencing that. They so reflect back to us the things that are going on in our body, our mind, our life, whether it's anxiety or a physical ailment, stress. They mirror it right back to us as a way of helping us see. And I think that I do think that. I think they are teaching us that there are certain conditions that that we need to take another look at and say, I think we might be doing something wrong. I think we have to do something different. And we make a gentle shift. I know for myself, I will be a 100% improved pet parent. I'm doing things with Gypsy now that I have not ever done with my other animal companions. Jack and Lucy, they each spent probably 7 or 8 years before I really understood nutrition. That eating kibble every single day, 2 meals a day, just a scoop of kibble. And now I understand things so differently, and my nutrition for Gypsy has changed. I am thankful. I thank Jack and Lucy for teaching me how to be a better pet parent going forward. So what does this have to do with Levi? With Levi, I got a clear message that this was not for Levi's human. Levi's human companion did everything possible to make Levi's life comfortable. Levi had a neurological condition that presented when he was a puppy. So after Levi was brought into the home, he started behaving in a certain way that raised some eyebrows, raised some questions. Went to the veterinarian, suffered from a neurological condition. I don't know what that neurological condition is, but it caused his health to decline extremely rapidly. And by the time he did not quite reach his first birthday before the decision was made in conjunction with veterinary care to transition to the other side, to relieve him of the physical discomfort. The message that Levi gave to me was that his life was for the veterinarian, that the veterinarian learned something. I don't know what it is, but that the veterinarian who provided the health care for Levi is the one who learned something. Levi came here to teach that veterinarian a way to handle that condition in the future, whether it was to recognize it earlier or understand how to treat it. That's the message. It came through like it's the very first thing that came through. I sit down, I close my eyes, I look at the picture of the beautiful animal companion I want to connect with. I love to look into their eyes. I love to see who they are, who they were. And I had 2 pictures. I had a picture of Levi as a 10-week-old and a picture of Levi as a 10-month-old. And it was the 10-month-old picture when I looked into Levi's eyes, clear message that he came here for the veterinarian and that his job was complete. Like during that 10-month span, the veterinarian, whatever he needed to learn, he or she, I don't know, whatever the veterinarian needed to discover over that time was complete. And so Levi was able to go back to spirit. And leave the physical body. So I hope that is some comfort for Levi's human, that Levi recognizes you did everything humanly possible to make his life comfortable. And that the reason that he came here, because there's a reason every animal comes into our life. He's grateful for you to that life, and that his job was with the veterinarian. He also, for the message for all of us, is that our animals are just like us. Our animals are just like us. They are spiritual beings having a physical experience. They recognize, not always, sometimes when they're in their physical body, they I know that our animals are so much smarter than us. They are so much more intelligent. They are so much more aware. They're so much more self-aware, but they get sucked into the physical experience just like we do, especially the animals that share our home. But Levi specifically wanted me to know that he and all animals are spiritual beings just like we are, and they come into the physical for a specific experience. So he is a spiritual being in a physical body. Also that he's been here many times. He comes and goes frequently. Levi is a teacher. Levi is a teacher. There's no other way to put it. He comes here to teach something, and then he returns, and he comes back again to teach something, and then he returns. So he wants you not to worry about him. He has got this. He's got it under control, and he does not want you to worry or to second guess anything, because he has an agenda. He is on his own journey, and it's a very important journey, and it's teaching. And then the last thing that he said was something so sweet. Did you read him stories? I know I'm fairly confident that Levi's human is going to be watching this, even if it's on the replay. Did you read him stories? He tells me that he loves the soothing sound of your voice, and that you would read out loud. That's what I got. So that you would read stories as if he was a child, and it soothed him and it calmed him. And in his most difficult, challenging, discomforting moments in the physical body, the sound of your stories and the sound of your soothing voice is what got him through so many of those moments and allowed him to do some of the things that he needed to do. All right. That kind of wraps things up for the evening, my friends. I'm going to do one last check of comments. Asia has taught you so much about nutrition. Yep, Judy, I am right with you. That's one of the things that I would go back and change for my animal companions. I would go back and change it. We talked about this, but I think we've talked about this in this group before, that my Peanuts, when I was a young girl, Peanuts had a can of Alpo every day of her life. For her whole life, her food was a can of Alpo. And now, all the things that I would do differently for all the animal companions I ever lived with. There's Jody. Hey, Jody, how you doing? I love it. If anybody catches that comment over there, ask Scout to have you mention her tonight. There you go. Just like when I asked to be mentioned by Mike Dooley. So there you go, Scout. Love you, baby. Absolutely love you. Do you think he's doing that to distract you from? Oh, okay. You guys are having a little conversation over there, which is good. Totally fine. I love it. As I share things and you guys share things, that's how we come together as a community to heal. Yoda. I love Yoda. Take care of yourself. Big hug. See you guys next week. He thinks my calves are turkey legs. Okay. All right. My friends, thank you for joining me. Thank you for being part of this community. Thank you for supporting each other. Thank you for welcoming new members. And we'll see you guys next week, or at some point, if you're in my classes, I'll see you this week. And until next week, may animals light your way. Take care.